Touchdown Pittsburgh, did they say? I think I heard that at the very end. That's where I'm from, Pittsburgh. Wow. All right, so here's my notes of what we're going to go over today. Can you see, Tammy, my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't have to read what I'm reading, but I'm just going to give you a heads up of what we're going to look at. We're going to mess with the woodland creatures from Creative Fabrica, as I mentioned, that you might have wanted to download. Talk about the pick scan mat. I'm going to show you how to put pattern paper again into Silhouette or Cricut, depending which one you have. And then I'm just going to do a quick shape card using one of the things from Creative Fabrica as well. I see my little fake tattoo that's coming off. See that? I did that with that Silhouette paper. It's been on there for about 4 days. So it's finally coming off. For those of you that think I really had one. But anyway. All right. So let's get started. So I'm going to stop this share. Whoopsie. And I'm going to go to a new share. So, all right. Let's see. Which one of these do I want to start with? I think I shall start with, I'm going to start with the owl card just for the heck of it. So just for fun, instead of bringing in the owl right here, I brought in the frog. Let me delete him for a minute. So this was the stuff from delete. Come on. Why are you not working? Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Hang on. Okay, so here's the owl that came from the Creative Fabrica woodland creature animal or thing. And I was just going to show you how to easily make it into a card that's a shape card that will fold as a print and cut. But I think what I'll do instead of doing the owl, since I already have him right here, is I'll do a different one. So first of all, what I did was I put my machine on Cameo. You can put it on any machine you want. Cutting mat was Cameo and letter size because that's what size my cardstock is. Then I also put show print border and show cut border. So I'm just going to come up here to the upper left hand side and say file and merge. And I'm going to merge one of these things that I've already downloaded and extracted because they did come as a zipped file. So I think I was going to do the frog, I guess. Could do the raccoon. I'll just do the frog. Click on him and then say open. And that makes him come right into this same page. Obviously, he comes in really huge. If you look up here, his width is 17 inches and his height is 18 something. Well, I'm going to lock the lock because I'm going to make him smaller and I want him to be proportionately smaller. So I guess I'll make his height like, I guess 5 inches. And just hit enter, and that's going to make all of it proportionately smaller. So the next thing that I did to make a little guy like this that would fold behind is I wanted to mirror this guy above. I'm going to mirror him up here. So all you have to do to mirror above is to come over here to the effects panel. Not that one, this one. The replicate panel, I should call it. And I'm going to go ahead and say mirror. Here's the word mirror, mirror above. It's going to mirror him right up above, but I have to have him highlighted first and then say mirror above. All right. So there he is mirrored above. Funny thing is, isn't that funny that his eyes don't match up? So I guess I'm just going to have to bring him down. Let me hit Control Z on my keyboard because what I really should do is just click on him and use the arrow key on my keyboard and bring him down till he touches here and here. Or what I could do, well, I'll just do it like this for now. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the mirrored image because I don't want to print this guy on the back. This is where it will fold. And I don't want him printed. I don't want to use that much ink. I just want it white. So I'm going to click on the mirrored image and then come over to this effects panel right here on the right hand side, the one that looks like a moon to me. Click on that. Then I'm going to click on brightness, little sun. And I'm going to turn this brightness slider all the way up to the right. Which should have, okay. Okay, so what I had to do a little bit different this time was look, on my directions to myself, all I wanted to do was turn my brightness way up, and that would get rid of everything. But it obviously didn't work for his eyes or those little dots that were on him. So what I did was I just messed with these buttons over here, the contrast one, and changed the contrast of that. And I could change the saturation if I want to. So now he's all just one color. And I'm going to change this color here to white. So I'm going to click on this guy, come up here to this color changing area up on the upper left, change it to white. All right. And now all I need to do, I don't want to change him. Let's see what happens if I just group him together. And I want to make him maybe just a tiny bit smaller so he'll fit for sure in my cutting area. And then if I'm using a cameo, all I would do is go to send up here in the upper right-hand corner. And it comes in perfectly except for that. Look, it's cutting right here and here. So we don't want it to do that. So I believe if I just highlight it and say cut edge, yep, it's just going to cut around the edge of all this. So that's all you have to do to make a shaped card. And when he folds in, he'll match perfectly. And I thought I had one right here to show, but I don't know where I put it. So let's go back to design again. And I'm just wondering here for a sec. I ungroup this. I could have actually gone ahead and made this, mess with the nodes a little bit so that this didn't quite overlap as much. And this one maybe overlap just a tiny bit more like that maybe. And a little bit like that. Okay, I'm not doing a great job, but I could just do that. Okay, so now if I went again, I think I probably want to do a little bit more right here and here. Okay, so now if I just group these together and now go over here to send, now you can see that that's not going to cut as far in as it did before. It is going to cut this part out. And if I didn't want it to cut that part out, of course, I could remove those nodes. But that's how easy it is just to do a shaped card just like that. So again, all I did was go to File and Merge. I'll do this guy, the raccoon. Oh, he's going to be weird because of that hair up there. Oh, let's try, see what we can do. All right, so I'm going to make him smaller first. Click on him. This is locked. I'll make it maybe 5 inches tall again. Hit enter. Okay. And let's see what I could do, I guess, is double click on him if I want to and get rid of these little things if they hang out further than the ears do. So I'm just deleting these, a few of them. Okay, let's see. There we go. And now I just do the same thing I had done before. So I click on him to highlight him. Come over here to the replicate panel and say mirror above. Now, sometimes maybe you want to mirror one to the left or the right if you want his sides to touch. You can do that as well. But for this shape, I don't think that would work very well for his side to touch. So I'm going to mirror him up above. I'm going to use my arrow key to bring it down. See, this one's odd too, the way they're doing. So what I would do now, like I had done before, is probably just click on this and just bring these nodes down so I can have them touch, which will look a little bit weird from the back, but not too bad. Grab both of these and say group, and then just go over here to send. Right now, notice it's going to cut all of these little areas, right? We don't want that. Grab it all, say cut edge, and there it's going to cut just like that. and you'll fold it right through the middle of this right here. Okay. So that's all there is to making these cuts or these designs like this. Let's see what else. Okay. So here is where I went ahead and brought in all of the little animals from the Creative Fabrica. And I think one of these might show. Okay, there it is when I have it on the pick scan mat. You can see the mat right here. So let's go back here. Okay, so what I did was this. Let me make these really small and move them over. So all I did was this. Rather than going to file and merge every time to merge a new guy in like that. Okay, what I did instead was this. Let me just delete him. I scrolled way out so I had plenty of room, and I'll delete these guys. And then I opened up the File Explorer that I have, and you must have something with Mac as well. And then I came to the downloads, and these.
Are you sharing the screen?
I am, but maybe that's not showing up, huh?
No, it's not.
Huh. Okay, well, here's the downloads here. And let's see. Then what I did was I just clicked on this to open these, and I went to the PNG files. And then I started dragging these over, just from here over onto my page. And let's see, what can we do? Can we see that? No. Yeah, you see that. Okay, so you see me dragging them over, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
well,
just
we don't see the software. We just see you clicking on them.
Oh, you don't see the silhouette software?
No, it's a black screen behind it.
That's weird. All right, so then I'll do a new share. Oh, I see. Yeah. How about no? How about now?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay. So now all I'm doing is just dragging these over. Now you don't want to put them on top of each other, as I think I've shown. Okay, now nobody will drag. Hang on a sec. All right, there. Oops, this shut. Okay. So I'm just dragging these over. Okay, see, but there, you don't want to drag them and have them touch over top of something else because you get something weird going on then. So that's why I tried to make this screen really, really small. So I have plenty of room to drag these things and not have them touch each other. So there's a bird. Oh, I already have him there. And the owl. Red bird. I'm just bringing these things over one at a time, but at least I don't have to go to file, merge every single time I want to bring something new over. So that's probably enough for you to see how this works. Did I bring both? Okay. So again, I brought over the PNGs. I don't want to bring over the SVGs, and there's a reason why, but I'm not going to get into that right this minute. So here are all of these guys, right? And I want to make these into stickers, let's say. Or what else could I do? No, what else? Stickers, printing cuts for some reason or another. I think you could get really cute ones. Cards, yeah, cards.
Gift tags.
Gift tag, great idea. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of these now, and I'm going to make them a lot smaller. And the reason why I know I have to make them a lot smaller is look at the size of my mat right here. So I want them to fit on that mat. So once I get them really small, now I'll scroll back in so we can see what we got to work with. Okay. So now I can get a load of one of these, and let's see, he's 1.126 inches tall, 1 by 1. So depending on what size you want to make your stickers or your gift tags, you know, you can stretch these out, make them bigger, and then just check the size of one of them, and that kind of gives you the idea of a range for all of them. So the next thing I'm going to do is, since I don't really have that many here, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this or grab them all, hold down the Alt key on my keyboard and drag over another set. And then I'm just going to bring a bunch of these over onto here. So as you know, in Cricut Design Space, if you were doing print then cut for stickers, the only thing that you could print and cut was something that's 9.25 by 6.75, which kind of doesn't give you that much space to work with. Let's see. So that's probably good. All right. So what I'm going to do first on these guys is I'm going to grab them all again, and I want to put a nice little white offset around them. Now I notice that these two guys right here are really close together. And if I put an offset around them, they'll probably butt up against each other and combine. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm just kind of looking to make sure nothing is too close to anything else. And what I actually could do is this. I could grab all of these and come down here to the nesting panel and tell it to select, use the select boundary, only shapes on the media. And I can change my padding, and that allows me to have more space in between them. So I can say nest. And while that's working, I'll have a sip of my coffee. And it's still working. There we go. All right, so it nested these. We really can't tell that it moved that much. But if I grab the same guys again and say nest and change the padding, you'll see the difference. See that? The padding is how much space there is between these. So if you want them to just cut right up against these, you don't have to have any padding. But I want them to have a offset on them. So I'm going to make my padding, I don't know, what did I have there? 30, I think. 30.
Yeah.
Nest. There we go. All right, so we got a little bit of an issue because they're going a little too close to the right-hand side. So I'm just going to move them all together like that. Okay, next thing I'm just going to do is grab them all again and come over here to the offset panel and say offset. So the first thing I'm doing is, do I want to have an offset that big? And if I do, I'm making sure that none of the offsets touch the other ones because they'll mess up. They won't cut in between them. It'll cut around both pieces. But that looks perfect. So I could change the offset color to white. All right, now here's where the beauty is, I think, of using this pick scan mat. And I actually could have fit a couple more on here. If I wasn't using the pick scan mat, I would go to the page setup panel and come to the third button over, which is the registration marks, and turn them on. And then you would see that none of these guys could be up here. These guys couldn't be off to the side. And these guys couldn't be. And as I said, I could add another one down here if I wasn't using, now let's see, maybe not him because he's a little tall when I put on the offset. Put him here. Him here. I could put another one of these guys if I wanted to over here maybe. And I obviously could not do this if I was using the registration marks. Okay, one of the things I do need to do to these though, if I'm going to add them, is to click on one, hold down my shift key and get these other two that I put on, and then add offsets to them. Okay, so obviously I could not cut all of these guys on my mat if I wasn't using the pick scan mat. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and, excuse me, turn off the registration marks because I don't want them on there right now. Off. And I'm just going to go ahead and print these. And it shows that maybe that one's outside the print border. So when you move these, you got to make sure you get the offset and say, don't do that. Oh, don't do that either. Get the click on him, shift, get his offset. See, I should have two things and just move him over. And I probably should center him again by coming up here to the very top. Not this one that says center to page, but this one will center those two items together like that. And then I can hit Control and G on my keyboard and they're grouped. So again, I'll do this one, hold down Shift, not being very successful. There you go. I can see I have 2 boxes around this, so I'll just hit Control G to group those, and then I can move them over, and I don't have to worry about not grabbing both things. Control G over. What I'm trying to do is make this mushroom right here over just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So what I can do now is I can go ahead and print this. One thing I would want to do though is this. I'll want to go ahead and say send. And notice it's going to cut around the frog's tootsies and around the outside, around the moose, his feet, his antlers, and around the outside. It's not what I want. So I grab everything and say cut edge. And this is where I like to look closely. Is there anything weird being cut out that I want to get rid of the nodes back in the other area? So I just check on these real quickly. Nope, they look good. So what I can do now is go back to design, and I'm just going to go ahead and print these. And I'll print these while we're having class, and I'll show you what we get. So I'm just going to say print and print. And I just set up a new printer this morning. This one, should I make it? I'll just leave the preferences. I'll just leave this at regular instead of making it high. Well, I'll make it high. So right now I could come over here to the quality, and usually it's on standard, but I just printed something not too long ago, so it was already on more settings, and I made it as high as it could be and said, okay. And then I'll just print this, and then I'll show you what else we do. Print. And print's not responding. There we go. Okay, that's going to print, and I'll show you what I do next to get my PicScan mat to work. So this is one way you can use the PicScan mat. The other thing that I did that was a lot of fun, but I bought the gift wrap from Dollar Tree, and it was really, really thin, almost like tissue paper thin. So when I tried to put it on, when I put it on the mat, it cut fine, but I couldn't get it off the mat because it kept tearing. So if you get a better quality paper, like gift wrap paper, and you want to cut around something, or if you have a card from last year, a Christmas card, good reason to save cards from last year, put them on the mat, on the PicScan mat, take a picture with your camera, and then just enter it into this, and I'll show you that right now. So it's just about done printing, and I'm going to try, let's see, this one off. I better not. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to do a new share now, and I'm going to share my iPad. I mean my iPhone, hopefully. Okay. So do you see my iPhone now?
We do.
Okay. So here's what I just printed out for you guys. Okay. And this, as you can tell, it's much larger than what we could print then cut on any machine. So what I need to do now is make sure, no, I don't either. Well, let me get my PicScan mat. Here's my PicScan mat. And I'm just going to place this on the PicScan mat. I want to stay within these borders. So this is going to be a little jerky because I'm holding this camera. And trying to do this. Okay. So there we have it on my PicScan mat. The next thing I do is just with the same camera that I'm using and showing you guys, I'm just going to take a photograph of this. Now, I wouldn't want to be over here and take a photograph because you see that shadow that's getting on there. So you want to put it somewhere where you're not going to get a shadow, especially on all these little marks that are on the mat. You need those little marks to show up. So if I'm here, I don't get a shadow. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the photo. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, and you probably can't see at all what I'm doing now, is I'm just going to go ahead and send this through the mail. Or if you have a Mac, you could just do the AirDrop or something. I'm just going to go ahead and send it to the mail. mail, and I send it at the largest size that I can. When I'm just going to call it nothing. S. I'm going to hit send, and it says, do I want to send it small, medium, or large? And I'll say actual size. I'm not sure that I have to do that, but that's what I do, and it's worked. So that's been sent. So let's come back here now. Stop that share. New share. Okay, so I'm in a new share now. Hopefully you see my silhouette screen again. All right, so I'm going to get a new screen. Let's see, make sure. I'll put this on Cameo because I don't have a portrait sized mat. So I'll just say auto. Okay, and I can turn these buttons off. Okay, the only thing I have to do now, oh, I got to go to my mail. Hold on just a sec. So I've got to open up my mail so I can download that thing. So let's see, there it is.
For another thing, when you're private, not when you're on the screen, you can open up, if you got iCloud, you can open up iCloud on your computer and just get it from there.
Well, that's true.
They'll save it there. I'm sure Google Photos does the same thing if you have an Android.
Okay, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm seeing that the photograph I took might not be good, and I'll show you why in just a sec. But here's what you do next. You just come up here at the upper right hand corner where it says Pics, and y'all can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to click on Pics, and then what I do is I click on the camera. Now, I've already calibrated my Apple iPhone. Okay, and it's very easy to do. It'll walk you through it, and I'll show you where there are help files as well. But once I click on this, I'm just going to say import PicScan image file. So I'm going to go like this, and it should be in my downloads, and there it is. Should be that one right there, I'm assuming. And say open, and I'm afraid, like I said, that I might not have gotten all my markings in there properly. Oh, I opened the wrong one. Sorry, but that was another one that I did. Let me try that again. So let me go back to my PicScan. Import a PicScan image. I guess it's this one. Okay. Okay, it's working now. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go to Cricut Design Space. And here we are in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to say new project. And I'm just going to show you today, right now, with that noisy thing going back there, how to go ahead and add patterns to Cricut Design Space if you've forgotten how or you never knew how. So all you have to do is open Cricut Design Space and say upload. And rather than coming here to upload an image.
Screen's not shared.
Oh, I thought I shared it. Thank you, Tammy. Lordy, lordy.
Yeah, I don't want you to have to do it again.
No, I don't want to have to do it again. Okay. Okay, now you see Cricut Design Space.
Yes. Yes.
So I've opened Cricut Design Space, and I just said new, and then I said upload. And usually we upload an image. That's basically mostly all we ever do, right? But in this one, what you want to do is you want to upload a pattern. So just go over here, and these are the types of images: a JPEG, a GIF, a PNG, or a bitmap, BMP. We're just going to go upload a pattern. Now, if you went ahead and got those things from Creative Fabrica that were free, you just go to Browse. And I need to go to my downloads. And it was the Woodland Creatures from Creative Fabrica and Paper. And you can do these one at a time. So I would do the Natural Woodland Friends. Say open. And then here, you can name it anything you'd rather have it named. And if on here, you can put some themes that are recommended, like I'd probably say nature, animals and wildlife. Let's see. What else. You don't see this?
Yeah, I said Christmas at the top.
Christmas. Yeah, okay, thank you. It could be juvenile, but anyway, you could just name these anything you want. And then some colors if you want to try to select things by these attributes. So I would just say save. And you're not going to see, okay, that should be saving. There we go. Pattern upload successful. So now let's just pretend we're going to come in and do a shape. I'll do the hexagon. And if I want to make this with that pattern in there, all I have to do is come up here to where it says fill, no fill. I'll change this to print. Okay, nothing's working yet. Come over here to this little color swatch area. And this is not very intuitive to me. It's kind of weird, but once you get the hang of it, it's easy. You don't want it to be a color. You want it to be a pattern. So click here where it says color, change to pattern. And there are the patterns that you have in. And the latest one that you posted in here is the last one or the first one up at the top. So you can say, click on that and it's going to fill it just like that. So I have some other ones in here. But anyway, you can add all kinds. Now, somebody asked me this week, how do you get rid of a pattern that you don't want in here anymore? And to be honest, I couldn't figure that out. If you go to edit pattern like this, edit pattern, there's no, you can change its size like we can over in Silhouette. You can change how you flip it or any of that kind of stuff, but I don't see where you can delete it. So if anybody else can figure that out, let me know. I think you used to be able to, but I don't see it anymore. But that's how simple it is. Just go to upload. Rather than uploading an image, upload a pattern. Browse for the pattern you want to upload. And the one that I use for my ladybug card is this one right here. I said open. And there it is. I could name it anything I want to. Maybe I want to name it ladybug or something. And then put things here that would help me find it. And then say save. Again, it takes a minute or so for it to save. Okay, so it must be saved now. So I'm going to say shapes. And I could just go ahead and change this. Hopefully, let's see, maybe I get a new shape. Oops. I try to do it like we do in Silhouette when you try to draw it out yourself. Pattern, there it is. And there it is. So that's how easy it is to put shapes here. And the way I do it in my Silhouette, see, I got a new share back here, share, is, let's see. You know what, you guys, I'm going to have to redo that, what I cut, because I had a problem because I forgot I'm not using my portrait anymore. I'm using my Cameo 4 that has a really ancient blade in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that one more time around there. Unfortunately. Boop, send. Because they didn't cut all the way through, I don't think. So now I'm going to go back. I got to move these boxes to design. And to put a pattern here, here's what I do. I go to my library and I come down here to where it says patterns. Oh, I'm already, oh, here it is. I'm already opening it. You see this right here? So with that open, I'll do the same thing I had done before. And that is to come to this little thing down at the bottom that allows me to see the things. Let's see here. All right. So I'm going to go again to the woodland creatures. Double click on that. You don't see it probably, right?
No, we don't.
See, I can't. Let's see. Woodland creatures. Let me see. Okay, I'm in woodland creatures and I'm going to go to paper. And here's the same papers. And all I have to do now is to just click on one and drag it across into my pattern folder. And that moves it just like that. And hopefully you can kind of see this. I'm just dragging them over and it puts them in. So let me minimize this. And let me see what you see. Okay, you're seeing that. All right, so now that you're here, you can see that I've put some of these. Here's the woodland creatures over here on the right-hand side. and the other ones that are in here. And I like to make folders in here. I have all my Doodle Studios. I want to have hers in a separate place just so I can remember who to give credit to when I'm using these. So let's see. Let me share. All right. So we're going to let that continue right there. And the next thing I just wanted to show you was the subtract and the subtract all. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit.
Yes, yes, we do.
Okay. So one of the things that you can do for subtract and subtract all, hopefully y'all know about being able to find the help files. All you have to do to find the help files is come up here to the word help, and there's a user's manual that you can look at. Now, as I said, if you were doing the pick scan, I've already included that. Let's see if that's what you see. Nope. Okay. I was looking up the pick scan features and reading about those some more. And as I said, if you have trouble calibrating your camera, there's all kind of information here on doing it. But the other thing I was going to do is you can look for subtract. And here it will show you. Let me see. Yeah. Subtract and subtract with, subtract, apply with, subtract all of these things. So you can get a really quick little visual. What does it mean? Here's the original image. When you just say subtract, what's going to happen? When you say divide, what's going to happen? So this is a nice feature to remember about, that you could just go to the help file and click in something. So let me delete that. Okay, so here we are. And I'm just going to go ahead and see, I had some notes of how I wanted to do this. All right, so let's just bring over a star like that. And I'll bring in another shape. Whoops, like that. Now, when I have both of those shapes selected like this, and I come over here to the modify panel, and I say subtract. Let's read what it says right here. It says use the foremost shape, so that's the pie shape, to cut a hole in the backmost shape. So that means the pie is going to cut a hole in the star if we say subtract. And that's exactly what it did. Let's try that again. Let's get a different two shapes. So let's see, we'll take this little flower, make it a little different, and maybe get this little star guy, put him there, move him maybe like that. So which is the foremost shape? This little star. It's going to cut this shape out of the back one if I select them both. And you can tell that by coming to the modify panel and look at the tip it gives you. Use the foremost shape or shapes to cut a hole in the backmost shape. So it's going to cut it right out of there when I say subtract. Okay, just like that. So let's see, what if we subtract all? It subtracts areas of shapes obscured by other shapes. Well, what the heck does that mean? Let's subtract all. So I said subtract all, but it doesn't look like anything much happened. But look, we can take this out again. Okay. But
does it cut, how do I want to say that? Layering? Like if you have more, like Cricut won't let you do more than one layer.
yes, it will. So let's see. There. Okay, there we are back to regular, I think. Nope. Okay, that should be back to nothing. Okay, so there's that. And I can make another one of these by hitting Alt and bring this one over here. So for subtract, now notice what it says. Use the foremost shape or shapes to cut a hole in the backmost shape, singular. So I should be able to grab both of these and say subtract, and it takes both out. Is that what you're asking, Joni?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. All right, let's see now. Okay, let's see. All right. So let's imagine that we're doing some letters. I'll get a letter. I thought I had this already on a piece. Let's see. P. Oopsie. I'll do my, oh no, I don't want to do that. I'll do my grandkids' initials. No, I won't. I'll do an A, and A. Okay. So I'm going to make these a lot bigger. And this is a reason why you might want to do this. Because if you're using vinyl, it's nice to be able to have something cut out of the thing behind it. So I'm going to ungroup these. Let me explain. Let me show you better. Put this here and move this piece to the back. Send to the back. Okay. So let's pretend like we're going to do this out of vinyl. And I'm going to do this maybe out of a blue and this out of yellow and this out of red. Okay. So if we're going to cut this out of vinyl, right now we'd have 2 layers over top of each other here and here, right? But if we go like this, let's check subtract first and see what happens. Okay, subtract is not what we want. And why is that? Because if we look at subtract again, it says, use the foremost shape, whoopsie, to cut a hole in the backmost shape. Okay, so this is the foremost shape right here. And it's going to cut a hole in the backmost shape. So if I do that, it cut holes in that backmost shape. And I'm not sure. Let's see. Not sure why the A went totally away. But what I wanted to show you today was this. When you do it like this and you say subtract all, it's going to subtract the area of the shape obscured by the other shape. So I said subtract all. It doesn't look like anything happened. We're doing this out of vinyl, blue, yellow, and red. When I move this blue piece over, check it out. This was cut right out of there, so we don't have layer upon layer upon layer overlapping. See that? So that's the nice thing about knowing how to use subtract all. Whoopsie. I need to use my arrow key perhaps. Click on this and use the arrow to get it back to where it was. There we go. Whoops, not quite. Okay, I must have done something weird. Let me just hit Control Z. Okay, there we go. Do I still? No, okay. So again, let's look at another one. Let's make these a different, make this one a different font. Come over here. I can just highlight that one. Maybe I can't anymore.
You ungrouped it.
I can't. Yeah, you're right. So I'll start again. Delete. So I'm going to say A and A. And I'm going to make it a lot bigger again. And I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to make it a different font. And click on this one and make it a different font. And click on this one and make it something else, or leave that one as it is, I guess. So now again, I could color these different colors if I want to, just to represent if they were vinyl. Well, let's see, I don't know if I can change one. Yeah, I can. Okay, oopsie. And make that purple. Okay, so now I can just mush these together. Oops, I gotta ungroup. Then I can mush these together. And whichever one I want to be on top, I can have on top. But maybe, again, I'd like the ampersand or whatever it's called, the and sign, to be on the top. So I'll say right-click and say bring it to the front. And again, imagine I'm using vinyl. And I don't want a whole bunch of layers layered on top of each other. So all I have to do is grab all of this and come over here to the modify panel. Am I going to say subtract? Nope. I don't want to say subtract because that's just going to cut the foremost shape a hole out of the back stuff. I want to say subtract all because that subtracts areas obscured by other shapes. So it's going to subtract the areas obscured by this top shape. Go ahead and do it and subtract all. Doesn't look like it does a thing, right? But we move this over. Now I should have played with that a little bit better, because look at that little teeny weeny piece left right there. But yeah, whatever. And then there's this one. So that's just a nice thing, whoopsie, to know how to do if you're using vinyl. So that's just a little bit of the difference between subtract and subtract all. And then let's see. All right, let's go back to these guys again. Now you'll see that these guys did indeed work. Advanced. Second camera. Share. Okay, so here are these guys. And now they did work fine. I can just pop these guys all out of here. And if they were stickers, which I did on my other paper, they are stickers. They could be used like that. But this is just how easy it is to do this now. And to have, to be able to use your whole sheet of paper. And that's, people's goals are always to use their whole sheet. Like I said, I should have looked. I don't think the pigskin mat comes in any other size than this. Well, I mean, larger for your silhouette. I do know I can get one from my portrait machine though, so I know it comes smaller. But you can see how I put the nice offset around everybody, cut them out perfectly. And again, the beauty of this is if you have a piece of paper, maybe you have a book, maybe you're reading a kid a book and you want to scan something in and make a little image for them to use, like I do for my grandkids, scan it in. And once you could get your scanner to actually work, as soon as they fix that, or here, let me show you, Joni, what I was talking about before. New share, basic. Here it is. This is what I was talking about before, Joni. Janet wrote to them because she was having trouble with getting her pigskin mat to work. And if you look in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth paragraph down, it says, unfortunately, this is a known issue with the 4.3 plus versions of the software and has to do with the scanners, blah, blah, blah. It says there are two alternatives in the next paragraph. You can import the image, which is what I did, or you can downgrade. Okay. They're working on it, they say. But until they get that fixed, if you want to downgrade to a lower version, you can get your scanner to work, or just use your camera like I did. Let's see.
I thought the newest version was 4.4.
Well, she just had this on Friday at 11:20. So they said anybody with a what does it say on the known issue with 4.3 plus versions. So anybody that has 4.3 and up, it's an issue right now. Something about the scanners and it not working right with the scanners. So yeah, I don't know which version I have. Let me look and see. Let's see. I don't always remember to go ahead and check to see if there's anything new. All right. So do you see my silhouette? Yes. Okay. I see it. All right. So if you don't know how to check and see what version you have, just come up here to help about silhouette, and it tells you what version you have. I have 4.4, 4.4.270. Is that what you have, Joni?
I'll have to check. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so if you ever wonder, how do you find out if there's upgrades or whatever, you can go to the silhouetteamerica.com and check out there. And you can see what is the latest version of the software. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or anything? So this worked really well. I can see that you'll wonder, what is the point? But the point, I guess, again, is that if you have something on another sheet, on a card, that you would, or here's another excellent idea, fabric. You can cut fabric out to make like a patch if you have like a design. So that could be something. Who is it that likes to do? That would be, who's doing the RC? Were you the one doing the fabric stuff? Yes. Okay. So that would be something that you could do. Imagine that this is fabric. And if you're using like I don't know how to do it in your your makers. But if you're doing it with the Explorer Air, and this was fabric, all I would have to do is put the heat and bond on the back of this and then cut it with that, which I like to have anyway if I'm doing an applique. And then I would just bond it to whatever fabric I'm going to put it on. And that would work like that. And then I could, take this and do a zigzag stitch around the fabric or whatever. And the heat and bond would help to keep it from fraying as well. So it's
I
nice
wonder
to,
if you could put some tape on cardstock and tape that gift wrap to it.
well, maybe that would work. You're right. You mean, oh, and then put the cardstock on top
Yeah.
of this. Hey, that's a good idea. I'll try that as soon as we're done here. So did y'all hear what Tammy said? Because I had problem with that stuff. This mat is sticky. And I had problem when I was trying to take that really thin wrapping paper off. And she suggested putting the wrapping paper on a piece of cardstock and then the cardstock onto here. So that's a good idea. I'll try that. That might work. So Tammy, while I was gone, did you get a chance to show your cards?
I didn't have no choice.
I know. I said, go.
I showed my snowman and let them pick which ones was colored with what.
Oh, how'd they do?
Yeah, they got most of it right.
Yeah. So you see how easy y'all know how to make those these into SVGs, right? The pics. Let me show you here. Screen share. I'll just show you. Do what?
I said the digi stamps.
Yes.
Yes.
So all that Tammy probably did was she went to merge, and then rather than using these guys, let's go to the download, and I'll do the. Where's that one I really thought was cute? Well, I'll just go. Oh yeah, these gossip chicks. I think these are cute.
Oh, yeah, I love them.
Yeah. So here's a gossip chick, this guy right here. And if I wanted to make him into a print and cut, obviously I could print and cut him just like this, make it him any size I wanted to. But if I wanted to color him like Tammy did on some of her digi stamps before she cut him out, you obviously can't just come up here and color him. You have to trace him first to make him into an SVG. So what she did was she went to trace, select the trace area, and then just traced him. And said trace, moved him out of here. And then like I always say that I always do is I color the outermost part a color I'm probably not going to use, a light color. And then I come up to object, release the compound path, and that gives me all the pieces that I want. So let's say I wanted to color his tail and I wanted to color it a, well, let's come over here, a variegated color or a gradient. I could come over here and pick any one of these gradients and make his tail that color. And then I could go over and change to the advanced options and change the way this gradient is. That's kind of pretty. Can make his head the same thing, maybe, I wonder. Boop. And maybe I don't like the white that close. I could make the white here. I could do all kind of stuff. But again, I don't know. Did you show them how you did yours, Tammy, or
I
not?
did.
Whoops, I don't want to do that. Anyway, so that's what you could do. Maybe I'll make the chicken a solid color, or maybe not. That's kind of cute. And that's all you have to do. I'm making something pretty ugly, but you get the idea. Make his beak just regular orange. Oh, let me make that green. There you go. Okay, that's still pretty ugly, but you get the idea on how you can do this. So all you would do now, what I would do lastly is go ahead back to this, change that little light color back to black. And we got an issue right here. So I got to change this part back to black too. Let's see. So I don't think that you probably didn't do this. Did you, Tammy? Did you click on, did you subtract
On
to
mine?
get your other black lines to show up?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. Seems like you should be able to do it a little bit different way when you're just doing a print and cut. But okay. So all she would have to do now is just group all this back together, make him any size she wants. She could hold down the Alt key on her keyboard, drag another one over, And then if she wanted to, she could just come up here to this color area. Nope, not that. This thing right here, the moon, the image effects. Come to the, which one is it, Tammy? The first? Yeah, the first one over, the hue. Change this and look, automatically you got two different, you get a different look going on. So all that she would have to do now is just go ahead and, well, she would have to make sure that these fit within the boundaries of her mat if she was using the registration marks, okay? So, you know, you want to move him over, make sure he fits within there. If you're using the registration marks, then all she would need to do is go to File and Print. And once it's printed, you go to Send. And it's, look at, it's going to cut all these things out, but you wouldn't want it to do that. Grab it all and just say Cut Edge. And all it's going to do now is going to cut all around the edges of that. And that's a pretty, huh?
They cute as they can be.
I love them. I know they're so cute. Look, and don't you like how easy you can change the coloring?
Yes.
I mean, with that hue tool, just come up here again, not there. I keep going the wrong one every time. There, and make it a different color. I think that's so much fun. So anyway, does anybody have any questions about anything? These stamps were from the DigiDoodle place as well, DigiDoodle Studios. Like I said, I'm not affiliated with Dina. I just think her stamps are really cute. And we will be using her stamps again next Sunday for our challenge. Well, not our challenge, our club. So let me go back here.
I do have some questions on this image.
Uh-oh,
image
what?
that you just showed.
Yes.
Doing that right? Okay, if you colored the different sections into different colors, saved it as an SVG, and imported it into Cricut, would it cut the ones that are in different colors so that I could do it as applique into different pieces?
I see Joni shaking her head yes. Have you done that, Joni?
No, but she says as an SVG, it should pop right in there.
Right. Let's
She
see. Let's,
probably have to resize it though.
yeah. Let's try that once and just see what happens. Oh, you know what though? Since we save these, since we have these as patterns, it's not going to show up right. So let me ungroup this guy and let me bring you back so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. So the patterns that we have here that we use don't show up in Cricut Design Space. So what you would want to do is to color these things a solid color, because it would say something about the patterns don't work or something like that.
That's why the silhouette program is so much better.
Yeah, I like it. But so I'm just changing the color of these. Okay, so now what I usually do, isn't it, that I like to do, oh, this is only if you're using it for Cricut Design Space and you want to use it for vinyl, you'd probably want to save these pieces to stay together so that when you cut them, they're right in the area that you want them to be. But if you don't need that to happen, I'm guessing that we could just go ahead and so File, Save Selection, whoa, Save Selection, File, Save Selection, save it to my hard drive, and I don't know if I got his feet. Check for Cricut. And I'm going to save it as an SVG. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but this is all I'm doing is saving it as an SVG. And now I'll open up Cricut Design Space and I'll bring y'all over to there. Okay. And I'll say new, replace, upload an image, browse. Oh, dear me. Where did I save them? I think I saved them in that darn folder and I shouldn't have. Oh, dear. I didn't pay attention. All right, let me just save into my downloads. So let me go back real quick. File, save selection, save to hard drive. Uh, be right there. And SVG and downloads. Save. Okay. All right. So now I am going to just bring him in now. Browse. Downloads. Okay, something weird's going on. Why does that not look right? Okay, well, it worked okay. Do you see the chicken now coming in? Save. Insert.
Yeah, we see.
Okay, and so then you see all the files over here that you have. And of course, you can change them to whatever size you want them to be. So I can click these off. I can ungroup him, maybe. Yep, there's all his pieces. So, yep, you can do just like Joni said, and just like we thought. Exactly what you'd want. And then you could do your stitching around these, have them cut out with your maker fairly easily, or if you use the backing with your Explore Air 2.
And if you wanted to do print and cut, you could put a pattern on him or all that right there in Cricut too. You can't get the gradient, but you could, like the yellow piece, you can make that a pattern, right?
Right, yes. And hang on, I see Mamie was mentioning Terrial Magic. I'll show you what that is. This is what I think it was Mamie. Yeah, in the chat, Mamie had mentioned this stuff that you can put on your fabric, and I'll show you in just a sec. It kind of makes your fabric about as stiff as a board, doesn't it, Mamie? It makes it just like really stiff, as if it's paper, like really stiff. It's fabric stabilizer.
Where do you get that at?
I got mine at a fabric store. I imagine you can get it online, but look how much it is. $14.99 when I bought it. Woody-loo-doo.
Coupon time.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But anyway, that's Terrial Magic. And that works to really stiffen up the fabric. So
Don't some people cut it out with heat and bond?
yes, definitely. That's what I was saying. Heat and bond. I think that's the one I like. Let me double check. Yeah. Yes, heat and bond, not steam-a-seam, heat and bond.
I can see I would be able to use that. I also got a simple embroidery program for my FOF, and you can upload SVG images into it, and then it will do embroideries in outline, double outline, or fill, and a couple of things. Very simple, and that looks
Nice.
like
That's
a great way to
perfect.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. The only software I ever had for my embroidery machine was Floriani, and that was just overkill. It's just so involved. So anyway. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? What's everybody going to do today? I'll
Sleep.
stop her. Do what?
Sleep.
Sleep? Oh, that's right.
I'm gonna find me something.